WhiskyJason here. Whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. And the whiskey I have today comes from Japan. Chichibu, Ichiros Malt and Grain Blend. This is specially bottled and distilled for Hakuba in Japan. And actually this bottle should never have made it over here to Europe. You can find it online for 800 euros, which is over $1,000. And this was cask number 4988. And it was bottled in November of 2016. Now, I have a friend over here, Volkmar, and he is the owner and proprietor of www.whiskeytemple.de, and he is specialized in Japanese whiskey. He's over in Japan maybe 2 or 3 times a year, and every time he's over there, he brings back a bottle or two. And that's what happened with this. He brought back that bottle. So, Chichibu is basically the first distillery that opened up in since 1973. It opened 2004. And 2008, it actually produced its first bottles of whiskey after 4 years. And Chiraru Akuta is the rock star of Japanese whiskey. His company, Ventura Whiskey Limited, is responsible for selling Chichibu. Now, Chichibu is not a distillery I've heard a lot about. I do know that they use a lot of 200-liter casks. Every once in a while, they use even a quarter cask, which is 130 liters. And this bottle is a single cask bottling. 258 bottles worldwide, and I received my sample from bottle number 63. So, Chichibu. Chichibu is the rising star in Japanese whiskey. In Tokyo, there was a whiskey fair 2017, and Chichibu had a stand. And the problem was that the queue or the line was so long that the people at the whiskey fair couldn't actually get through, and so they had to actually bend that line around to someplace else to not disturb the flow of the customers and of the visitors of that whiskey fair. Everyone wanted to try something from Chichibu because it's so difficult to get. Usually all the whiskey is sold out within minutes, if not hours, of being placed online, and then it hits the secondary market and the prices go up and up and up and up. So I don't have much Japanese whiskey here to compare it with, but I do have this bottle here. This is a no-age statement here from Nikka. This is from Nikka's distillery, the Miyagichu distillery, which was opened in 1969. So 4 years later is a different one, and Nikka has basically the Yochi distillery as well as the Miyagichu. And this is basically without any type of peat. So I'm just going to compare the two so you have a little bit of feeling of what we're talking about. Japanese bottles almost always have the screw top, which is just a sign of Japanese whiskey and not of something bad. So first of all, the smell. They actually smell very, very similar. Here we have a faint hint of charcoal, of a little bit of peat and a little bit of smoke. Faint, 1-2 ppms. And here we have a very strong dominant alcohol character. So I've already done my German video, so I know what I'm looking for. And I do know that I need to water this down. I tried it pure and it just ruined the moment. And this is such a great whiskey, that'd be a shame. Ooh, I get kiwi. I get a type of passion fruit. I get a lot of creamy vanilla wood. And some grain as well as some roasted almonds. Very, very, very nice. In comparison, it's stronger. It's more pepper. It bites more. Even though this has a much lower 47 actually. 43% alcohol. So let's try it. Got a little bit more bite than I expected. It's still about 52%. So good. Creamy. Vanilla. A little bit of like the shortcake. Yeah, exactly. Shortcake. So nice. And light fruit. The wood is absolutely just in the background where it should be. The alcohol is wonderfully blended into this. And we should not forget, this is a blend of malt and grain whiskeys. And Ichiro Akuta is really just a master of blending these. Very, very, very nice. This is, in my book, an A-. Now, value for money. 800 euros. $1,000 for this dumb bottle over here. I'm actually going to fail it. No. No go. Now, as I said, this is a limited single cask bottling, 258 bottles. None of these bottles should have left Japan. Just because someone bought it in Japan, brought it over to Europe here, I actually had the opportunity to try it. Therefore, it's also very, very, very expensive. Let's just compare it really quick. Miyagichu. More bite, less aging, a tiny, tiny little bit of that whiff of the smoke in there. The fruits are less dominant, and the creamy vanilla moment is absolutely missing. A much, much better whiskey, very, very nicely done. So my question of the day, Chichibu, Japanese distillery, have you had any of their whiskeys? If so, thumbs up, middle, or down? And second of all, do you know anything about Ichiro Akuta? And if you do, put it in the links and so on. That interests me. I've read up a little bit about him. I watched 2 interviews of, as I mentioned before, but yet I know so little about this rock star of Japanese whiskey. I need to learn a lot more. All right. Thank you very much for watching. An A-, and for value for money, straight fail. So sorry, but that's the way I see it. Please like, please subscribe, please tell others about this interesting guy over here in Europe tasting whiskey you'll probably never ever see in your life. But I'm comparing more and more. This is a bottle you can take a look at so you have a good comparison and you have a good feeling for what I'm talking about. Thank you for watching. See you soon, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Bye-bye.